Peace everybody, back with another video. This is Michael Avenatti, convicted of trying to extort Nike. And as you can see here in the pictures, Michael Avenatti himself, who has been convicted of trying to extort Nike. Michael Avenatti is a lawyer who once represented adult film star Stormy Daniels in a lawsuit against President Trump, was found guilty of trying to extort sportswear giant Nike. So Michael Avenatti has been found guilty of trying to extort sportswear giant Nike. He used to be the lawyer for Stormy Daniels in a lawsuit against President Trump. A Manhattan federal jury on Friday found Avenatti guilty on 3 counts: extortion, wire fraud, and transmission of interstate communications with intent to extort. He faces up to 42 years in prison. So the Manhattan jury did find him guilty on all 3 counts of extortion, wire fraud, and transmission. If he is convicted, he will face up to 42 years in prison. So that's a very long time if he is found guilty. Avenatti, 48, who did not testify in his defense, pleaded not guilty to charges alleging that he tried to extort up to $25 million from Nike by threatening to expose corruption at the company unless he was allowed to conduct an investigation. So Michael Avenatti is 48, will be 49 this year. He did not testify in his defense. He pleaded not guilty to charges alleging that he tried to extort up to $25 million from Nike, and he was threatening to expose corruption at the company unless he was allowed to conduct an investigation. Prosecutors said he had more than $11 million in debts at the time. So Michael Avenatti had like $1 million debt. And of course, when you're in debt, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. Today, an anonymous jury found Michael Avenatti guilty of misusing his client's information in an effort to extort tens of millions of dollars from the athletic apparel company Nike. Manhattan U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman said in a statement, while the defendant may have tried to hide behind legal terms and a suit and tie, the jury clearly saw the defendant's scheme for what it was: an old-fashioned shakedown. So there was an anonymous juror. Whoever the anonymous juror was, found Michael Avenatti guilty of misusing his client's information in an effort to extort tens of millions of dollars from the athletic apparel company Nike. While the defendant may have tried to hide behind legal terms and a suit and tie, the jury clearly saw the defendant's scheme for what it was. It was also an old-fashioned shakedown. So he could try and hide behind a suit and tie, but that's not going to make him innocent, because you're still going to get found guilty no matter what. And he got found guilty. Avenatti gained prominence by making frequent cable television appearances in 2018 and 2019 as journalists courted him for information about Daniels, who sued Trump to avoid a non-disclosure agreement in which she was paid $130,000 by Trump's then attorney Michael Cohen to keep quiet about an alleged sexual encounter with the future president in 2006. Trump has denied any such encounter took place. So Avenatti did gain prominence by making frequent cable television appearance in 2018 and in 2019. The journalists, they courted him for information about Daniels, who sued Trump to avoid a non-disclosure agreement in which she was paid $130,000 by Trump's then attorney Michael Cohen to keep quiet about all an alleged sexual encounter. But I don't know why we're sticking Trump in the middle of this mess. This isn't about him. This is about Michael Avenatti, who has been found guilty for trying to extort the company of Nike. At the peak of his notoriety, Avenatti even considered running for president. Now you know that's not going to happen because Michael Avenatti is going to be thrown in jail if he's found guilty. 42 years in prison is a very long time, so there is no way Michael Avenatti is going to be running for president. However, his fall from grace came when he was arrested last year as he was about to meet Nike lawyers to press his demands for millions to conduct an internal probe of the Beaverton Orbis shoemaker. Alright, so Michael Avenatti, he has his fall from grace when he was arrested last year. So Michael Avenatti was arrested last year in 2019. He was about to meet Nike lawyers to press his demands for millions of dollars to conduct an internal probe. Now you know there's something shady going on there, and of course Michael Avenatti is part of it, so this is why he's been arrested and he's been found guilty. Avenatti maintained he was taking the aggressive position at the urging of his client, Gary Franklin, who ran a youth basketball league in Los Angeles and was angry that Nike ended a decade-long sponsorship that provided $72,000 annually in free gear. The lawyers sought $1.5 million for Franklin as well. So Avenatti is trying to maintain he was taking the aggressive position of urging of his client Gary Franklin, who ran a youth basketball league in Los Angeles. And of course, Avenatti was angry that Nike ended a decade-long sponsorship that provided $72,000 annually in free gear. The lawyer sought $1.5 million for Franklin as well. Franklin testified that two Nike executives forced him to pay money to the mother of an elite high school basketball player's mother and to pass along payments to the handlers of other players while doctoring paperwork to hide the purpose of the funds. So they were trying to hide the funds. Franklin did testify that the two Nike executives forced him to pay money to the mother of an elite high school basketball player's mother to pass along payments. And this was to the handlers of other players while doctoring paperwork to hide the purpose of the funds. So he was trying to hide everything. In court Friday, Avenatti was seen in court blessing himself before the verdict was read. He looked straight ahead with a sad expression. After the jury read the verdict, his lawyer put his hand on Avenatti's shoulder. So the jury, they did find him guilty. Michael Avenatti had a sad expression. Well, whether he likes it or not, he's been found guilty of these charges. After the jury read the verdict, his lawyer put his hand on Avenatti's shoulder. So, I mean, there was nothing else that could be done. Sentencing is set for June 17th, so Michael Avenatti will be sentenced June 17th of this year. And of course, here is Michael Avenatti himself, who has been found guilty. Avenatti's defense lawyer told reporters he will appeal on the basis of jury instructions and said Avenatti was very disappointed with the verdict. So Avenatti was not happy with the verdict. Well, too bad. You got what you deserve. What deserve, actually. Avenatti, defense lawyer, told reporters he will appeal on the basis of jury instructions, and of course, and said Avenatti was very disappointed with the verdict. Well, Avenatti got what he deserved. He did all this mess. His sentencing is June 17th. The 42 years he will have to do. If his lawyer decides to do this appeal, and of course the judge is going to deny the appeal because Michael Avenatti must do the 42 years that he is going to be sentenced on. In addition to the extortion trial, Avenatti also faces an April trial in New York on charges that he defrauded Daniels of book proceeds, and a May trial in Los Angeles on charges that he defrauded clients and others of millions of dollars. So Michael Avenatti's got 2 more trials coming up. The first one is in New York in April. That he's got charges against him that he defrauded Daniels of book proceeds. And another trial is in May in Los Angeles on charges that he defrauded clients and others of millions of dollars. So he's really going to have a long trial on those. Plus the one he just got convicted on. He's going to be facing a lot of jail time after these 2 trials that he's got in April and May. So whatever the judge gives him for those 2 different judges gives him for those 2 separate trials, they're going to add on to what Michael Avenatti had been found guilty of on. Leave your comments below. I am out.